there's kind of no way that anybody could be fulfilled. Like, it's interesting when I speak to, I guess certainly before everything got on top for me in the United Kingdom with documentaries and attacks and stuff, like young men would say to me, "Oh my God, what's it like? What's it like to be able to sleep with as many women as you want to?" And I would sort of say it's kind of in some ways really, really amazing, but it's amazing mostly to know something that most people will never know, that you cannot be fulfilled by the pursuit of carnal pleasure, that sex is not an object in itself, but a condiment, a kind of an accompaniment to love. And also sex is the act of the creator. It's the act of creation, creating life. I believe that sex is pleasurable because it's the act by which we create life. It's when we are perhaps most like God. And to misappropriate and misuse that power is transgressive, and to use a sort of a bit of an old-fashioned word, sinful. I wonder what you think about this, Lily. For men, just from if you didn't believe in God, from a biological perspective, men sleeping with lots of women kind of makes sense because a man don't get pregnant. A man's not going to bear the responsibility. A man, if he wanted to, could just leave and his genes are passed on, his job's done. For a woman, the act of sex carries a potentially quite a high sort of price, as well as a potential for a great blessing of pregnancy. And I wonder how you feel about how the act of sex could ever be anything else for you again. This is not an absolute argument, because we all do things when we're young that would not be appropriate when we're old, full stop. In particular, with regard to your attitude towards sex, can you imagine sex ever being sanctified again and an expression of unique and special love between you and someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with?
Not in that way. Like, I believe in having multiple partners. I don't believe in monogamy. That's the right word. And so not really. I think sex can be special, but it doesn't necessarily mean like you have to just have sex with this one person for the rest of your life and make love, and you're only having sex to have children. I'm guessing is that something that you think is true? Like, you only have to have sex if you want to make babies?
I've been thinking about it a lot, actually, and trying to understand it, particularly as a new Christian, because it seems like, Lily, if there is any censure against sex just for pleasure, then that would apply to everyone. Because as a Christian, I'm looking at stuff around what it says in Scripture around homosexuality, for example, and what it says in Scripture. When I'm looking at it, it makes sense to me as an individual with the experiences I've had that the power of sex is sort of so great that it needs managing, that it isn't something, this might be a weird example, but it sort of demystifies it a little, like phone use. Because like the phone is such a powerful thing. If you don't have a program around your phone, like if you're I'm just going to look at my phone whenever I feel like it, you might end up looking at your phone all the time. You might end up looking at your phone in the dead of night. You might end up looking at your phone instead of your children's faces. And what I feel like with sex, like when I was little, mate, not little, teenager and growing up, pornography was, this is going to make me sound so dreadfully old, and there's some little part of me, Lily, that's reluctant even to say it, so there's my vanity, that pornography was analog and on bits of paper and magazines, and you had to get it like Indiana Jones. You had to right there, I've got a pornographic magazine from my dad's bedroom or some lads at school. It was not like something that was just instantaneously accessible, and so sex, even the feeling of sex and the wonder and the sort of magic of sex and the excitement of sex, it was hard won. So like to go from that to then being able to get sort of pornography, then getting famous in sort of my I was like 30 really before I got famous, but also I got kind of, if I dare say it, I found it easier to attract mates from when I was around 16, 17, 18. Like, sort of women liked me. Like, it really felt like, oh, wow, this is incredible. And I don't think I was capable of having a clear and objective perspective of what sex was doing for me, what it was doing for the other person involved, and its power in a general way, because I think our culture doesn't handle sex very well. Like that most young men are going to, like now there's going to be generations of men growing up and their understanding of sex, or one of the first things that's going to be hitting them around sex is your escapades, if I may call them that, Lily. I don't want to be at all derisory about it or judgmental, because I'm in no position to judge you. I mean, nor is anyone in any position to judge you. So like, but what I feel like is that, when the floodgates opened and I could just have sex whenever I wanted to, it's not dissimilar to what you're describing of like, I went to college and maybe I was going to do nutrition and then I'm realizing that OnlyFans is making money and I kind of like it. Well, for me, I've always had this joy of exuberance in performance, and the exuberance of performance and the exuberance of sex felt pretty well aligned, I have to say. They felt like they were commensurate and good accompaniments for one another. There's two things I'm really interested in. One is the impact of sex and sex for money and sex as performance on your soul, you, Lily Phillips, on your precious soul and your spirit. And also all of us as human beings, like me, everyone, like what it does to us if we start to use sex as a kind of currency. But that's everyone's doing that. I'm going to say everyone. I mean, whenever attractive women are used to sell chocolate or yogurt or automobiles, it's on the spectrum with what you and I are discussing. So again, there's no sort of moral high ground here. But one thing I wanted to bring to you is like, my wife actually was talking about someone she knew where there was an exercise or fitness instructor who was also on OnlyFans. When I heard that, this is what I felt, mate. I was like, whoa, like that means, like, I'm thinking about myself when I'm 17. Like, if it would have been possible that you could sort of see a mum at a school or a teacher or anyone actually, and then somewhere else you could go and pay money and see that person take their clothes off and perform the most intimate things, I don't know what would have happened to me psychologically. That's just so overwhelming and so ridiculous and so exciting, but also it's reducing everybody to a kind of object. Now, I don't think sex is the only way we do that. I think we look at relationships transactionally in a general way. You know, what can you do for me? Can you get me money? Can you get me power? You know, I guess you're in LA, so you're going to be hooking up with people that are influential. And if I do this with that person, sooner or later someone's going to suggest that you have sex with Jake Paul and Logan Paul or everyone in the Paul family. You know, all of these things are like available to us. But this is it. Like this is, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm going to quote scripture. But in Corinthians, Paul says, "Did you not know that your body is a temple? Did you not know that your body is a temple?" And he says that to the people of Corinth, I figure, because they're all out there thinking, let's get on it. Like they're having it. And like when I heard, "Do you not know that your body is a temple?" I thought about the things that I've done sexually over my life. There's just the multiple partners, the transactional nature, sleeping with people in bathrooms, all completely consensual. It's not about the consensual component. It's about what it was doing to me and what it's done to me and what it's done to other people, actually, and the impact that it's had on people. And I feel like this is something that we have to discuss, because I believe that it's real, mate. And when you said the thing about like not wanting to disappoint the men that travel a long way to sleep with you, or feeling encroached upon by the camera crew, I wonder what you recognize that feeling as being in yourself, where you feel like it comes from.
You know what? I'm just a people pleaser, and it was making me feel awkward, the kind of conversation. That's kind of all, really. It wasn't necessarily this like massive thing. I just wanted to please these guys, and I felt kind of bad that I'd invited them to this thing, and you know, I couldn't do that for them. But yeah, that's all I can say on that, really.
Free speech is under attack, but Rumble Premium refuses to back down. That's why you should use Rumble Premium. Support content creators like me, and him, and him, and him, and him. I'm going to say and her, but is there one? And her? Oh, that's good. And her. With major advertisers conspiring to pull their dollars, even brands like Dunkin' Donuts turn their back, claiming Rumble had a right-wing culture. We're not here to fit a mold. We're here to defend free expression. To strengthen this mission, we're excited to offer Rumble Premium, a completely ad-free experience with exclusive benefits. Grow up for viewers and creators. It's more than a subscription. It's a stand for free speech. Your voice matters. Join Rumble Premium. For a limited time, you can get $10 off an annual plan using the promo code BRAND. Visit rumble.com/premium/brand and claim your discount today. Together we can turn the tide, whether you join Rumble Premium or simply keep watching. Your support helps keep free speech alive. Go to rumble.com/premium/brand and use the code BRAND to get $10 off. Is there a limit to where you believe this could go, Lily? Like, is there stuff like, oh, I'm not going to do that, I won't do that, I'm only going to do it for this long? In your mind, do you have a sense of limitation around it? Do you have a plan?
Like when I do these gangbangs and stuff like that?
The whole way of life, I suppose, but certainly gangbangs for sure. Have you got a sort of a perspective on it of like, I'm just going to do it for this amount of time, then I'm going to stop? Or do you have a vision and an image for how long this is going to go on for?
I have no clue. I kind of always said to myself, I'll stop when I stop enjoying it.
Do you drink or take drugs or anything?
I drink.
Do you drink and take drugs when you're working?
No.
Forgive me asking, mate, but are there any times when when you sort of, what do you do to kind of make yourself feel refreshed and cleansed? Who do you talk to openly? Who have you got, like, who is your support in your life? Who are your best friends and your best relationships, and how do they work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I talk to my friends and my family a lot, not necessarily about my work, because when I see them, like, I want it to be like, I'm not always like an OnlyFans whore. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just nice just to like talk to them and be with them and not have to talk about work. So sometimes when I see them, I won't really talk about it. But usually with my like work staff, I'll always like go through things and talk about stuff.
With like your mum?
No, with my mum, I won't really like talk about work much, or parents or anything like that. Just my staff. I'll talk about work to them. You
have a team around you. And what about, in addition to work, just talking about how you're feeling and what's happening for you emotionally? Who do you chat to about that sort of thing? Me, see, I go to 12-step groups, but also on top of that, I like have friends that I can speak to really plainly about what I feel. Also, may I say, like mentors and people that have got more experience than me. And I think without those kind of relationships, I don't know what I would do with the sort of challenges that I face in life. I reckon what it is, Lily, say, like when you become aware of someone in the environment, you get an initial impression of them. And if someone's doing something as striking as you're doing, it's difficult for me. I feel like a sense that I want to reach out to you a little bit, because I suppose when I was younger, and before I was married and before I had children, I suppose if I'd heard of you, I would have been happy to see you as an object and not to investigate that any further. But as a adult man and as a man of God, how I see you is a fellow child of God. And part of me feels like I wonder if there is any way that I can offer you some protection or service or counsel. And it's very interesting because I deal with drug addicts all the time, and I know if someone ain't asking for help, that means they don't want help. If someone's taking a bunch of drugs and they're having a wild old time, then they don't want you. They want you to just mind your own business. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.